Wow, first of all, just wanted to say I'm incredibly grateful and blessed for this opportunity to speak today. And I just want to give a special thank you to David and Mike for the team and this journey. I'm a better man for knowing both of you, so thank you. When we first started researching getting things done for teens, we unearthed some really fascinating data. A recent study in the US reported that 82% of teenagers reported consistently experiencing moderate to extreme stress during the past school year. 82%. That percentage was actually less than in other parts of the world, including India and China. Overload is pervasive. In that same study, it showed that teenagers are actually dealing with stress. The majority of them are dealing with stress by further plugging into the sea of connectivity, whether that's video games, social media, entertainment. Distraction is rampant. Think back to when you first intersected with GTD. For most of us, it was at the point of some form of desperation, whether that was overwhelm or stress or forgetfulness or ineffectiveness. I call this adoption process reactive GTD because we came to the methodology because what we were doing either wasn't working or we were looking for something better. And GTD represented a form of relief amidst a complex reality. But does stress and overload have to be, is that a necessary precursor to the adoption of GTD? What if we considered a more preemptive approach, a proactive GTD, one that was introduced before habits are formed, before overload, before immersing oneself fully in the sea of digital connectivity? What if, from an early age, one of our highest priorities was to equip young people to effectively manage stuff, thus unleashing them to be all that they were called and created to be? I have 4 kiddos. My son, Will, my daughters, Samantha, Nora, and Izzy. Nora, she's my third. She's my middle. And she's beautiful and she's sweet. And since birth, she has struggled with significant anxiety, even paralyzing, often dysregulating anxiety. As a little baby learning to crawl, she constantly had a bruise on her forehead because when she got overwhelmed, she would bang her head on the floor until someone was able to come and scoop her up and comfort her. So at the age of 4, the idea of cleaning her room was seemingly insurmountable. So I started experimenting with her with the first 3 steps of control: capture, clarify, and organize. We simply called it bucket cleaning. And I took an empty laundry basket, and I set it in the middle of the room, and I said, Nora, I want you to go around this room as fast as you can and collect everything that doesn't match where it's supposed to be. Go. And she did. You see, cleaning her room was overwhelming. Clearing her room was empowering. From there, I had her take one item at a time, take it out, and ask the question, what is it? And from there, we could answer, where does it go? Oh, Daddy, this is Samantha's stuffed animal. It goes on her top bunk. This is Izzy's dolly. That goes in her crib. Oh, I don't know what this is, Daddy. Oh, yes, I do. That's a nightlight. I know where that goes. And before you knew it, we had an empty basket. It was a simple game to teach 3 powerful steps. And Nora has actually taken bucket cleaning and transferred it to other parts of her life. And my other kids have adopted this as a practice that they constantly do. The power of corralling physical stuff. I teach in the public school system in the States. I've been teaching in a multi-age classroom in the public schools for about 20 years. I teach a classroom of 8 to 11-year-olds in the same room. Katrina was a former student of mine. Her family was first generation from East Asia. And on a routine trip home to visit extended family, it turned into a horror story. It wasn't a trip at all. It was actually a planned kidnapping by her father and extended family. where upon arrival, they took their passports and wouldn't allow them to leave. Her brave mother escaped with her and her brother to the US consulate, and over the course of the next year, they made their way back to the States, and Katrina re-entered my classroom. Now, I didn't know how to support her. All I knew to do is just to love on her and support and encourage her the best I could. But on one of these particularly heavy days, I sat down with her and I introduced a mind sweep. And I just said, tell me everything that has your attention right now. And I scribed for her. And she just unloaded all of the stuff that she had been carrying around. And after just listening and writing and asking a few questions along the way, I turned the paper around and showed Katrina. Shoulders dropped, tears stopped, and she looked at me and said, that's not that much. And from there, we discerned some simple projects and next actions that she could take, ranging from emailing the band teacher to see if she could join band, to learning to wash clothes so she could help her mother. I watched this little girl go from shut down to feeling empowered and encouraged. The power of externalizing stuff. This is my classroom. One of the most important things that I feel like I teach my students is not math, writing, reading the core subject areas. It's the ability to reflect and engage, to pay attention to what has their attention and what needs their attention. We use the metaphor of the 3D glasses to represent the three depths of reviews: the daily review, weekly review, and levels of focus. Our daily review is really quite simple. It is a semi-frequent look back at what we refer to as our second brain. You actually see a few kids here with 3D glasses on. They don't serve a function. They like them for the novelty of them. But they're just looking back, checking calendars, projects, next actions to keep them on track for the day. And the primary goal here is for me to help them understand how to be effective map readers before they need to become effective map makers in their own life as their life grows in complexity. Every Monday, we do a weekly review, which is, from what we just heard, one of the most notorious habits for a GTDer to do. Our weekly review has 3 parts: get clear, get current, get creative. Getting clear begins with what we refer to as a stuff hunt, where kids go around and they search backpacks, lockers, inboxes, reference bins for any residue that's gained throughout the week. Next step is they do a mind sweep. What has your attention this week? Write it down. And lastly, they get into empty, and they clarify whatever they did and organize it. Now, for some kids, it might only take a few minutes at this age. For others, like in the bottom right, it may be a little bit more of an extensive time. After getting clear, students work to get current. They update their organizational tools. Here you see 3 different systems we've used: a Post-it system, a hacked paper planner, and a digital list manager. And then they go to take action on whatever they need to, whatever responsibilities they have for the week. Goal here, and one of the most unexpected empowering activities or empowering concepts for students to get, is the difference between being current and being done, and how much freedom that provides young people. Sometimes it feels like David's walking around the room offering his sage advice. This was actually David on a visit to my classroom back in 2015 during one of these weekly reviews as he was interacting with the students. And the last part of the weekly review then is getting creative. Truthfully, this is why I teach. This is my absolute favorite part of everything. It's kids exploring their sparks, their passions, taking risks, collaborating with others. Now, this creativity can take a lot of forms. Here you see kids programming spheros. This little girl wanted to learn how to make balloon animals, build roller coasters using Connects. These girls figured out that the graphite on their pencils worked as a conductor, and they hooked up a device called a Makey to their Chromebook, where they coded their version of a Dance Dance Revolution game. I'll show you a clip.
I think it's because, well, we did make it bigger.
Yeah, it was actually.
I noticed how you guys, when
Okay, so you got 1,000.
Learning to sew, make puppets, building Lego robotics. The student in the bottom left is redesigning his bedroom on a floor planner app to take home and give to his parents to see if they'll buy in. students entering the world of social justice. The kids in the bottom right are designing football plays for their game at recess. A student decided he wanted to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. He did that, taught a few of his friends, and it spread like wildfire throughout the room. And the class decided, we should do something for the whole school. So they organized and planned a whole school cubing expo where they made a sculpture of Martin Luther King using 250 Rubik's Cubes. They organized lessons, tournaments, and even brought in a local world record holder as a guest celebrity. And the list goes on. Kids making carnivals for other kids, giving presentations on a wide variety of topics, even a life-size version of Wizard's Chess from the world of Harry Potter. Regardless of what you think of these activities and their place in schools, here's the bottom line. These students created ClearSpace, which provided the opportunity for creative inspiration. They dreamt a vision of wild success, and they took action. This will be the ultimate make it up and make it happen generation. And they're facing the most complex and dynamic reality in the history of the world, full of an unbelievable amount of noise. We have the opportunity to proactively equip them with the thinking skills to thrive in it. What are we waiting for? Thank you.